Once upon a time in a hive, deep in the woods, there lived a young bee. Day in and day out, it flew from flower to flower, gathering nectar and pollen, making honey for the hive. It worked and worked, but it was never enough. There was always more work to be done. One day, the young bee could take it no longer. It flew to the queen bee and asked, "Why do we have to work so hard? The butterflies, they just fly around from flower to flower, doing as they please. And the dragonflies, they just dart around all day long. Why can't we do that instead of working?" The queen bee smiled and said, "Because you are a worker bee, it is your duty to gather nectar and make honey. You may not be able to fly as fast or as far as the dragonfly, nor stay as light and carefree as the butterfly, but you are strong and diligent. Go, explore, and you will see the value of what you do." So the young bee flew away. It flew past the trees, over the hills, and far into the meadows beyond the hive. It saw the butterfly flitting from flower to flower, always looking for the next one with the sweetest nectar. It watched the dragonfly chase other insects and saw how even the ants were busy carrying crumbs and seeds. As the days passed, the young bee began to understand why it had to work. It learned that the dragonfly, with its big, beautiful wings, could only fly for a few weeks each year. And the butterfly, with its colorful wings, needed the warm sun to keep them bright and beautiful. As winter approached, the young bee saw the dragonfly shiver and hide in the tall grasses. It watched the butterfly crawl under a leaf, too cold to fly. The young bee remembered the cozy hive, the busy workers, the sweet smell of honey, and most of all, the warmth. It flew back to the hive, where a small group of bees were still working. They welcomed the young bee back and shared their honey. The hive was warm and safe. The young bee slept soundly, dreaming of flowers and the sweet taste of honey. When spring came, the young bee woke up with the sun and flew out to see the first flowers blooming. It flew back to the hive and buzzed with excitement. The young bee gathered the other bees and told them about the sweet flowers. Together, they flew to the fields and gathered nectar and pollen. Soon, the hive was filled with the sweet smell of honey. Once again, from that day on, the young bee worked with the other bees, gathering nectar and making honey. It was hard work, but the young bee knew it was important. The dragonflies and the butterflies might get to fly around and play all day, but the bees had something better, a warm hive to come back to each night and sweet honey to share with each other.